Engine 82, Engine 81, Engine 26, Medic Engine 6, Medic Engine 4, Medic Engine 3, Squad 52, Crew 11, Ventura Crew 2, Ventura Crew 3, Investigator 13, responder reports of a brush fire, 10,000 Santa Paula Ojai Road, near Thomas Aquinas College.
The Thomas Fire started on December 4th. As a lifelong Southern California resident, you could just tell that it was going to be a significant event.
As the smoke cleared, we started to comprehend what had happened to the community, and it was not comprehensible. We're talking about a community where housing is of a premium, where good housing is hard to find, where the cost is already unaffordable, and some 500 homes are gone, literally within 24 hours, gone.
Then in the early part of January, we have a substantial rain event come through Santa Barbara County. There was a lot of loss of life in that mudslide, but also what happened was the complete closure of the 101 freeway.
I think we learned some important lessons from the Thomas Fire, and I think that the biggest one was how important collaboration and cooperation really meant. And I mean that as in those first days after the fire, downtown was a proverbial ghost town.
But the air quality down here was so bad, for at least 3 days, the air quality was horrible. And we just shut the doors and told people to stay home.
So what we did is we leaned on our partners.
I think the biggest thing towards resiliency is making sure that there are alternatives if one of the parts of the transportation system, for whatever reason, breaks down. But knowing that we had partners that were prepared to step in, our partners at SCAG who offered to provide any assistance that they could, the Los Angeles County Metropolitan Transportation Authority reaching out and saying, if you need assistance, we can help out. So it was a true recognition that we weren't in this alone. I think where SCAG is able to provide the benefit is that it's through that facilitation of all these partnerships that SCAG brings to the table. That was huge.
But of course, it's not the only natural disaster that we face. We have over half of the nation's seismic risk right here in the SCAG region, so we've really got to grapple with it. You know, we're all in this together. The earthquake is absolutely inevitable, but the disaster is not, and it's going to depend on how many of us have been able to do something to strengthen our community. The Dr. Lucy Jones Center for Science and Society has been working with SCAG this year to support cities that want to move forward on seismic resilience. Different cities have different problems. They're going to take different times to get to where they're going. But by being engaged, they're making a commitment to their own city, to their own citizens, but also to the whole region. Because the earthquake doesn't recognize city boundaries, and we're all going to be affected by what all of us do.
The SCAG region is extremely diverse. It's diverse in the sense of their agriculture communities, their industrial communities, their communities that are more residential. And as an organization that represents 191 cities and 6 counties, it's our job to make sure that we have benefits that are available to each city, no matter what their demographic is and what their size is.
So certainly one of the innovative programs that SCAG introduced was the Go Human campaign. As we urge people to move out of their vehicles into active transportation, it's important that we provide an environment where people feel safe in doing so, and that we help people understand the interaction between vehicles and active transportation.
Each year, SCAG hosts an economic summit. And no issue was probably more important to the region's economy than housing. This year's Economic Summit focused on what are the economic challenges to not being able to house the residents of our region. So when you look at what comes out of that, there's a renewed awareness that we certainly were able to carry to Sacramento about finding specific solutions to meet those housing needs.
In this last year, we've seen legislation that impacts not only the individual cities, but our region as a whole. And it is beneficial for our region to be able to work collaboratively to either support or oppose some of this legislation up in Sacramento.
When the president of SCAG or myself sign a letter supporting a legislation or speaking on behalf of the legislation, that goes a long way. And that happened because of leadership and its commitment. That happened because we are there walking the halls of Sacramento and Washington.
Last year we worked on the largest transportation bill in the history of California, and over 3 years it took a lot of work, and SCAG has provided us with much information, support, and advocacy for getting our transportation system funded in California. This will result in $52 billion in transportation investments in California over the next 10 years. The Southern California area received a lot of those projects that will relieve congestion, provide safety, and repairing the roads and streets. We really appreciate SCAG's effort and help in crafting the legislation to make it a good legislation for all of California.
SCAG has a very unique responsibility in Southern California to plan for the region. But sometimes we have to take a step back and look, what is SCAG doing to meet the needs of the region? And that's really what the update of the strategic plan is about. So when we look at the way the goals are, it's about innovative planning, it's about advocacy for the region, it's about sharing data and best practices in a new way. Those really are the formation of what SCAG's value to its members are.
The new strategic plan for SCAG, it's bold, it's forward-thinking, and with our open data, big data initiative, moving us in this direction would help cities not only streamline their general plans, but create and standardize data sets so that we all can participate and actually be able to get the information that is needed to move our cities forward.
I believe this big data, open data is going to be something that's going to add value not only to our region, but to our state, to our country. The impact will be worldwide. The best days for SCAG is yet to come, and I strongly believe that.
And I'm really looking forward to this coming year. As the largest MPO in the country, SCAG certainly has a higher level of responsibility in that we serve the 6 different counties, 191 cities, and nearly 19 million people.
It's critically important that we work collaboratively to make the region a better place. And we do this by planning for the future.
I'm looking forward to next year and to the future. The best days for SCAG is yet to come.